Well, good morning. I'm not sure it's working yet. Let's say it is. Well, good morning. Hello. We're back with Kerbal. I'm just kind of pumping them out. I feel like we're going to have another stretch of time where I can't play it for a while. But for now, I'm playing lots of Kerbal, and I'll catch up on publishing them later. It's a beautiful sunny morning. Trying to be in a good mood. Last time, we sent crew to Space Station Centaur. And funny story, I looked at that. Remember, well, it's all last episode. Remember, I talked about how the point of the space station was both to build out space infrastructure, but also to teach myself how to actually use the life support mod, rather akin to how space stations are in real life, a useful place to figure out how humans can live in space. So figuring out how Kerbals can live in space is part of the task. And after a stupid amount of going back and forth in the vehicle assembly building and thinking really hard, and Rachel sitting and looking at it with me and trying to figure out what was going on, and a lot of math, I discovered that you have to right-click to turn on the habitation modules. Otherwise, the space station components don't actually help you have longer habitation. So you can see that their hab time is 21 days. The 4 Kerbals we sent to Space Station Centaur can spend another 21 days there before they will quit. However, and by quit I mean they'll become tourists, they'll sit in their cabin and they won't do any work. However, this home now says 336 days. That's because I activated the modules and their time and space became... It's apparently when you turn on the accommodations, they're way happier. And because I've turned them on once, they're like, I could stay away from home for a long time. I just can't stay in this bucket for more than 21 days. So, I turned it off because we didn't have enough solar panels. But this was a known problem. We knew that the space station didn't have enough power generation. Which brings us to the next mission. So let's use this very nice time warp music to go ahead and time warp to our next launch window because... or our next pad ready. Going to spend almost a week going around the sun. There it was. That happened fast. Look at our flotilla of spacecraft going off to meet the inner planets. So my alarm for crew rotations isn't actually as necessary. We won't have to bring them home. This is just the deadline for getting their I think there might be some construction or leaf blowers or something outside. Anyway, now this crew rotations alarm really just is we need to power up the hab units by this time. So let's leave that on, actually. Turn off the old pad ready. Ooh, we just missed our window. That's too bad. Probably because, here, let's warp to the next morning. We probably just missed the window because 6 days ago we were launching. Like, because I set the window, I might set it for slightly less. I might set it slightly less than the amount just so that we don't have to deal with that problem. So now I got to do this thing again where I try to get this level. That's what's really hard, is I want to look at this yellow line and have it be level, and then put the flag almost under it. Not quite level, is it? It's a little bit leaning. I can't really tell. This is what the challenge of launching from not the equator actually does. So that's where the space center is, but this, we want this to be level, and then I'm going to put it right underneath. Hope. Now we rotate a degree every minute. All right, there we go. Let's leave. Once again, we're having a nighttime lunch because this time of year, our let's go in the vehicle assembly building to pause time. We've already rolled it out onto the pad. One moment. I don't know what I meant. I tried to send an emoji, but who knows what happened. Alright, we've got the Hippogriff Moon Lander. So this is a lander inspired by flying mounts. And this lander should work. The plan for this lander is that this lander should work on any moon of Kerbin. So we're going to test it out on Minmus first. But it should work on even Dres. Dres is the one that's scarier because unlike in Kerbal Space Program, and unlike in stock Kerbal Space Program, in this mod, Dres is smaller but more massive than the moon. The surface gravity is lower, but I forget exactly how it works. The orbital velocity is higher, so we have to have more fuel. So hopefully this lander is capable of taking a scientist to the surface of any of the moons and still having enough to get back. And we also have a power module. So I've made a power module for the space station. This is just a ton of the only solar panel that we've invented so far. And we can't spend science on solar panels right now because we're trying to unlock the lab, but once we have more science, we can throw this away because this is so many parts. The spacecraft has 171 parts. It's going to be a problem for just the processing. Anyway, let's save and let's launch while we have this fun dance music. We're launching on the same type of launcher that sends the capsules to space. So let's cross our fingers and launch. And we're not thinking about the phase angle. By phase angle, I mean in normal Kerbal Space Program, when you're launching from the equator, you time your space station rendezvous launches to be phased correctly with the station so that you meet up with it. But we don't have that luxury. We have to be correctly timed to get under the orbit. 5, 6, here we go. We just have to align with the orbit, and then we're going to have to wait until our phase is lined up to actually rendezvous with the station. Okay, now we tip over. Apparently, we don't have... Wait. Why don't I have maneuver holds? Hang on. I should have maneuver holds. Because there should be a hex core in here. Did I build the whole thing around an octo core? What did I do? Open. That's an octo. Okay. Is this... does this should have a hex core in it? Wait. Did I not put a probe core in this thing? Let me check, because this thing needs to have a probe core. It needs to be autonomous because I'm trying to send it. I might have forgotten. I was building this last night and I was kind of tired. I may have neglected to actually put the probe core into this design. So, hang on. We're safe. And now we have to kind of disassemble it. I'm going to cheat a little bit. Again. We're going to do that again. Because, apparently, I put an inline reaction wheel, but I did not put a probe core. So I don't love doing this. This is part clipping, where you kind of stick parts inside one another. Hang on, we want to go this way, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't love part clipping where you stick parts inside each other so that they take up less space, but I've run out of options. I now must do that in order to get things to work. So the materials bay is taking up less physical space than it should. I feel badly about that, but apparently I neglected to put like the most important component. Turn that way and then, oops, turn it around and then turn that way and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're just gonna do it this way so that we can carry on as quickly as possible, because everything was done and I want it to work as intended. Really glad we caught that. If I had put a hex probe in this upper stage, I wouldn't have noticed that we didn't have maneuver holds, and we would have launched a useless lander. Because the whole point of this lander is that you send a scientist, not a pilot. So I don't know what my plan was for putting a probe core in. I don't know why I neglected to do it. It's supposed to be down here, but I have to rebuild everything if I make it take up the space that it actually takes up. So we've developed a physics-breaking technology that enables us to put our computers in our materials bays and still do a science. All right. Well, hopefully that's the only major omission that I had. I checked that I had all the science, so we do have a transmitter, right? Yeah, I put the transmitter on. Just forgot the probe core. I would use this. This is a radial attach. It doesn't seem to have maneuver nodes, but like I could stick that on the outside. So basically, if you imagine that the hex core came in this form factor, we would stick them on either side of this and shove it in there, and we'd have we have room in this design for more electronics on the sides here. We just can't put it there. All right, justification over. Save, launch. Close call. It's gonna push off and hit Altoona. Close call, folks. All right. Here we go. All right, pitched over 5 degrees. Grade hold. We're not going to worry too much about our inclination. As long as it's within a few degrees, I'm happy. I want to try to get the ascent profile correct. We should have like 500 spare meters per second on this launch vehicle with this payload. Hang on. Mass. I don't know how. I forgot to set my timer, but I will do it later. We'll do it in a bit, because we need to concentrate. I'll go back to the VAB and figure out how much it massed, and we'll set the timer that way. It's gonna be like 6 or 7 days, I think. Beautiful. So far, so good. This is a pretty launch so far. Engine cutout. Booster separation. This is not quite as it's not quite the ascent profile I wanted. It still kind of went steeper than I wanted it to. We'll set a maneuver at apoaps. We're gonna have to chase this thing, so let's build our maneuver and see what the burn situation looks like. We're supposed to get onto the other engine, but we did not do that. Then again, I did design this thing to go up to 100 kilometers instead of 80. Apo. There. All right, let's rotate. And let's wait to jettison the fairing, I think. We're gonna switch to a lower thrust stage soon, so I'm just gonna start burning now. Right on the horizon. I don't wanna lift my periaps very much. I mean, I don't want to lift my apoaps very much. There's the oh, this is a good time to, hang on. Let's set that as target and get our rendezvous thing, because we are so off in our inclination. I don't understand how we got it so wrong, but we want our relative inclination to get fixed while we're doing this. Alright, let's point. Okay, so if we burn north, does that fix it? Relative inclination, this helps it go down. Yeah, that sort of helps. We're going to be a bit off. Now the leaf blower is here. And our time to apoaps is dropping, so let's increase. It's a good thing that I've been sort of overbuilding these things, because I continuously fly actually bad ascent profiles. Ugh, now we've overcorrected. Maybe it's because I get this funky music. I don't mean to blame the music. Let's try epic. Let's try epic music. That sometimes is good for launches. It sounds like a bomb alarm out there. Add maneuver, like, sounds like there's an air raid. Let's get the periaps out of the atmosphere. Come on. People are waiting. There we go. Alright, now let's jettison the fairing. Let's point the correct direction. And we will finish circularizing in 50 seconds. One, zero. Okay, 83 by 91. We're gonna have an annoying time warp experience, but we just have to wait. So what we actually want to do, let's point prograde. Quick save. We still got 500 meters per second left. We did a really inefficient launch. We did over 3.6 kilometers per second of delta V to get into orbit, which is not good. Should be able to do like 3.4. But anyway. So let's add a maneuver here real quick. Set this as target. I want to see how far off I am. If I were to transfer to meet the station now, how far off would it be? Quite far. If I wait one orbit, how much does it improve? Not very much, so let's delete that maneuver. Warp to periaps, point retrograde. This is nice music. Under 85 kilometers, unfortunately we have to wait for time warp to time warp. What's happening? Okay, there we go. Couldn't find the camera. Well, it's a nice looking craft. I had to cram a probe core in there. But it's all right. We've got lots of fuel and monopropellant to work with here. In fact, I might do some of these maneuvers with monopropellant. That actually would be a good idea. Let me burn this, because monopropellant has a lower specific impulse than fuel, so you actually get more delta V out of your rocket if you burn the lower specific impulse fuel first. I'm just repeating Scott Manley truisms right now, but it is true. Now let's switch to the space station for our phasing orbits. Here's our nice space station. Here's everybody. Iriri, Shanbri, Cloffin, and Jondrin Kerman. And now what we want to do, let's set... This is what I was meaning to say, that because we have to try... I still am not getting my timing right at all. Because we have to try to time the launch to get in the same plane. We did our best. We are off by a degree. It's not as bad as it could be, but we spent a lot of fuel diverting. Because we have to time it based on that, we can't time it based on where the station is in the orbit, so then we have to do phasing. But it's part of the fun. Alright, so let's just look at Kerbin, and then try to get a view of the orbit. And we're just gonna... Oh, wait! Let's do this thing. Pad ready was a day ago. We've already spent a day? Is that right? Yeah, because we had to... Hang on. Space Center. Kerbal is challenging. It's challenging to keep my train of thought consistent enough to juggle all these things. It stretches my mind. Alright, how... Press the wrong button again. The vessel we just launched was Hippogriff H. Load. 75 tons. So I'm going to add an alarm for 7 days. This is normally the alarm is 8 days, but because I missed some and we're going to then have to wait for it to get back into place, I'll just go ahead and add that now. This is actually should say pad ready. Close alarm detail. Okay, in a week we can launch again. Things don't go as expected, but that's what you want. Like, you wouldn't want it to go completely as expected. Only my ego wants things to go as expected. Right, so now we're here. I want to time warp because I can time warp quite quickly. See how because the lander is in a lower orbit, it's going to slowly catch up on it. All right, let's fly because I think we're arriving at the right time. If we might have to still time warp a bit more, but we're arriving at close to the time. All right. So if we added a maneuver at periaps, what would our intercept situation be with our ship? See, it's close. If we made that maneuver happen the next orbit, we would actually miss back. we can make it match if we do the burn at a different time. Yeah, where if we do it here, look at that, we can do separation 0.8 kilometers, separation 0.6 kilometers. Well, that's quite good. Let's just do that. Then we'll pass at the ascending node, so that's fine. It's not perfect, but I think that this is going to be actually the most, the least OCD way to do this. We've only been in flight 2 hours, apparently. Is that right? I thought I'd time warped a lot longer than that. Well, anyway. We have to wait 11 minutes at only 10 times time acceleration. But yeah, okay, so the idea is, here's the lander. We put the Kerbal in the lander, but the Kerbal is a scientist, which is why we had to put the probe core. Probe core actually flies. The scientist just gets out, resets the experiments. We've got the lander can plus 2 science containers, enabling us to take 3 copies of the science experiments that we do. There's our destination, Space Station Centaur, within 100 kilometers. So we can take 3 copies of our science experiments. We can't get credit for more than a couple of them, but by keeping those around, we can sort of abuse the laboratory mechanic. This right here is basically what I call a drop tank, although we may or may not drop it. There's a bunch of liquid fuel and oxidizer in here to run these engines so that the lander can go to Minmus, because the lander has enough delta V to land on one of these moons, but not necessarily the delta V to transfer all the way up to Minmus, land, and then come back and re-rendezvous with the space station. Those are all, that's expensive. So we have an extra mini fuel tank for the lander to carry around. And then, of course, this is full of stuff as well. So I'm going to do... Man, it really does sound like I should get under the desk. Sorry if that's coming through in the audio. But I'm just going to keep playing because that's what I need to do today. What happened to the music? Separation. Now we can turn on RCS. 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.6. Alright. Oh, now the music is back. Now I'm trying translating 0.4, 0.5. Alright, we're going to get 0.4. We still have about a degree. So we're going to turn our CS off. We're going to switch to target. We're going to hit F5. YouTube is not receiving enough video. I'm sorry if YouTube is not receiving enough video. I'm sorry if you're experiencing buffering. Stand by! You know, space is loud sometimes. Rockets are loud sometimes. I'm going to do this rendezvous in the noise, because it's just what we got to do. Separation will be 0.4 kilometers, relative speed 48 meters per second. I'm going to add a maneuver right there for 48 meters per second. It's only a 2-second burn apparently, so we're going to be fine. So let's just warp here. They're right outside the window. And we'll set into target mode and have it point target retrograde. And as we fly in, where is it? There it is. Here it comes. Now it's loaded in. Everything's lagging. Ah. Alright, we're going to rotate around. Get pointed the correct direction to kill our velocity. And we're going to just time accelerate until We get right up next to it. This was a relatively painless rendezvous considering how much went wrong. And 30, 20, 18. Alright. We have now killed our relative speed. There's a lot of parts. That's why I want to eventually replace this power module, because all these solar panels plus all the parts on the space station, you can see that it's chugging on my end. It's probably chugging even worse for the stream, so I'm sorry. All right, translate forward. We actually want to close this distance at more than a meter per second because of the way that orbits work. It's actually going to kind of take a while. Okay. Oh, that thing happens where when you time accelerate, stuff moves. So hopefully we didn't just mess up the orbit of the space station, but that sometimes happens. Let's get as close as we can get, and now let's... Here we come. Wum 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 wum. See how as we go around, the actual direction of our motion keeps changing. We need to be closing faster to actually get the result we want. Maybe like 2 meters a second could work. We could use the engine and then we don't have to creep up on it quick. Oh, it keeps jumping. Really am concerned that we might have to fix the orbit of the space station. Space station's orbit is 105 by 107, so at least it didn't, like, decay. Okay, so now we're getting close. Now we need to kill that speed. Okay. Alright. Turn off reaction control thrusters. Where is the music? Play. Why was it paused? I have no idea. Control from here. Bring up the docking port alignment indicator. We don't know which port we're going to yet. Yet vaguely pointed the right direction. Don't jump. Oh my gosh, you see how dramatic that was? Really bad. Moved a couple 100 meters. Alright, we can't time accelerate anymore because it's going to break the space station. We'll call that the natural decay of orbits. Close at a few meters per second. Okay, now we're closing. We want to come in on this side, I believe. Let's try physical time acceleration. Lag, 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 lag. Here we go, we're coming in. Now let's start braking. By braking, I mean not braking the spacecraft, and instead just braking our velocity. Did we just bounce? I think we might have just bounced. Alright. Let's stop our relative speed, and now let's roll over a tad. And now let's translate sideways. There we go. Thankfully, this thing has the capacity to control its roll. I realize that these things don't actually do what I want. Anyway, this is the one that we want to target. So now let's turn. Pivot. Pivot. Ooh, frames. That's okay. Now that I've seen videos from Cyberpunk 2077, I shouldn't worry about my Kerbal frame rate at all, comparatively. This game is older, and I'm running it on not a gaming device. All right. Okay. So now we're going to translate in. I actually need to aim the camera here so that I can see what's happening. Let's slow down a little. Look at this enormous space station coming into dock. This is something. All right, let's start killing our translational velocity. Almost lined up. We're vibrating around, but yeah, going forward. This is good docking music. We're inclined at 90 degrees to the way we're supposed to be looking, but getting very sensitive all of a sudden. There's going to be a big bump. Prepare everybody in the space station for a big bump. Perfect timing with the music, too. Oh, it's chugging, it's chugging, it's chugging. All right. Quick save that. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, just don't think about the frames. And now what we have to do, we have to get pointed the right way. So let's control from here and point retrograde. It's gonna get confused. It's gonna wobble up, 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 up. And now I'm gonna rotate south. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah, see, we want to get rid of this as soon as possible, because now this vessel is 257 parts, which is just, it's just too much work for the processor to calculate all that physics. Oh wait, we don't want to be aligned. We want to be exactly 90. And now look at how much electric charge we're going to have. So now and I can actually point up a bit, and I can even turn this way, and that looks much more like a space station, doesn't it? He says. It's a space station that's asymmetrical at the moment. Okay. Pretty. Alright. Now, we actually need to move this over, so more docking. Hooray! More docking. How am I doing with time? It's buffering. Already 40 minutes in, I've launched one thing. Alright, let's decouple this. switch over to this vehicle. Back away. Now we want to control from here, and we'll aim camera here as well. Set that as target. Sounds good. Actually, I want to set the other one as target. Can I... First of all, we don't need Kerbal Engineer. Give me docking port alignment indicator, and let me switch to that one, yeah. Alright, now let's rotate like that. Boy, we're falling away very quickly. Let's get this correct. Alright, that's roughly aligned. Now we want to do this, and now we want to back down. We want to go down. We want to be approaching. There we go. Whee! Yeah, we got to get on the other side of it. This line is red because we're not on the correct side of our docking port. But thankfully, we got lots of monopropellant. Okay. Now we can slow down our the rate at which we're backing up. Closing velocity, let's have it be like almost 0. There we go. There we go, that's better. Okay. So far so good. Now let's just rotate so that our docking ports are aligned properly. We haven't really worried about that, but I'd like to start doing that for the pleasing nature of the whole thing. We've passed it, so... There we go. Now our closing velocity's gotten rather high, so slow down a little. It's not that time is running very slow. So you can see up in the corner, our time is not that slow. It's just our frames that are slow. There we go. I'm going to put on caps lock for fine control. Try to keep this aligned. And we're coming in. Doesn't quite seem lined up. Let me... Aha. Yeah, translate over a little. There we go. Thankfully, these things have a magnetic force that real docking ports do not have. Real docking ports have to be very precisely aligned, and you need a certain amount of force to actually get it to go. Did it bump into anything? Okay. Dock complete. I did bump into this. That's not ideal. I didn't notice that. Well, I think we're okay. I think everything will be alright. Like, what happens is they push into each other, and then the thing becomes one craft and there's no clipping, so... Whoops! That's alright. We've already part clipped a whole probe core into the spacecraft, so won't worry about it. So now this is attached. Oh. So now, with the power of this newly brought a huge amount of batteries and solar panels that's destroying my frame rate, we can actually start the habitat and watch these numbers. Wait, who's got 24 days and who's... Somebody has 24 days and everyone else has 14 days. Interesting. Start habitat. There we go. I don't know why Iriri Kerman is happier than everyone else. Let's start this habitat. There we go. So now we're looking at 329. But of course, if this is undocked, that won't quite be right. Iriri, are you somewhere special? No? I don't know why Iriri is special. Complete mystery. Who knows? Nobody knows. But let's check in on the electric charge. We are occasionally pulling power, but we have so much that we're going to be fine. As long as these solar panels are aligned roughly towards the sun, I think we're going to be in good shape. All right. All right, so now we need to do some additional back and forth here. So now we need to move this. I could have done this a lot more efficiently, I suppose, now that I think about it. Yeah, there's still some more space juggling to do. How's your propellant? Your monopropellant is full. Decouple node. This is the space tug. Why don't we control from here and set that as target. And then let's just come over the top. And I don't think I even need, whoop, wrong way. I'm gonna say, I don't think I need the docking port alignment indicator for this. Roll it over. Get where I can see what I'm doing. Let's do locked. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing. I'm still using it in fine control mode because it's so light that these four monopropellant thrusters are more than enough to push it around. Yeah, roll just a tad more. Okay. Oh, whoa. Everything is moving. Here we go. Good space music. Sort of. We're coming in. So we're sticking this on the other side of the power node because we want... there we go. Because we want the space tug to be available for future use. While meanwhile, we do one more rearrangement. I keep compulsively quick saving. Plenty of fuel. Decouple that. And all of the struts disappear. Why is it? What is happening? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Why is it doing that? Why is it falling away from the station so quickly? What the hell is happening? Okay. Anyway. Let's set that as target, assuming we can do this. Roll from here. And again, I'm gonna put it in locked camera so I can see what's going on. In this case, we definitely will bring this up. Let me try to rotate so that we're pointed the correct direction. Do we not have rotation? What's happening? Why won't we rotate? What's the problem? Reaction wheels running. I'm seeing no movement whatsoever from the reaction wheels. We have to do rotation with the reaction control thrusters. It's fighting me. I'm gonna quick load. What is it doing? Where is even the space station? It's just flying away. See what I mean? It's going all over the place. I'm gonna quick load and see if everything explodes. I should do a name save. Bugs. Bugs are something that can happen at this point. The other thing I could do is not bother undocking this. And just try to take as much monopropellant from it as possible and potentially just cut my losses and throw it away. Like, we don't need this stage. I just don't understand why it's doing that. Believe in it. I think my computer might freeze. We're almost an hour in. Okay, we're back. Okay, now I could always go chase after it with a space tug, but what I will do instead is attempt to pump everything out. I can pump all the fuel out. So that I can pump all the fuel out. No, I can't because I said disable crossfeed. So let's enable crossfeed. And now let's out, out, out. Okay, so now all of the liquid fuel has been transferred out of this vehicle. Let me find where in this whole complex of vessels, all of the places where monopropellant is stored. And then transfer that out. And see how much of it I can empty. You never know what's going to happen when you actually fly this stuff. Night, time accelerate. I can. Let's time accelerate to daytime anyway. Daytime operations are more fun. Then we can watch what happens to the electric charge when we go to night. Okay, so there's a tiny bit left. Look, there's 21 units left. So actually that's perfect. Let's quick save here. Let's try to get rid of some parts. Let's turn SAS off and decouple this node. Decouple. Back up. I think I'm not really clear what had gone wrong. Let's attempt to. I think what it is that these RCS engines are attempting to hold attitude. They're more powerful than the reaction wheel, but they have no way to distinguish rotation from translation. I want to go forward such that no. See, I can only push, and if I want to change my rotation back to what it was, something weird will happen. Well, in any case, we're now gonna pass the station. There we go. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, space station. Thank you for putting up with our problems. This is just the right amount of monopropellant, I think. We might not actually quite have enough. It might be a piece of space debris. When we get down to 5, I'm gonna do something different. Can we make it to 80 kilometers with the monopropellant that we have? 85. We got 10 units left. 83. 82. We have 9 left. 81. Okay. 76. All right, let's just keep burning. We'll burn until it's completely empty. Good dramatic deorbiting music. Almost there. Just keep burning. I'm just holding H. Ba 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 ba. There it is. All right. Now let's go home. And probably next time we will see the Kerbal. One of our Kerbals is going to go to Minmus. I'll explain from map view. The station is gonna resupply. We're gonna refuel the lander and the lander's drop tank. We're gonna fill it up with everything that it needs, and then one of our brave scientists will get into the lander, and the lander with its drop tank will transfer all the way out to Minmus, land on Minmus, do as much science as is possible to do, and then theoretically have enough Delta V to come back, be back at the space station. We won't actually get to bring the science home until later. This is a beautiful view, by the way. We won't be able to bring the science home until later. We'll only be able to transmit certain science experiments for full value, like crew reports and stuff. My hope is that if I can get... Oh, we don't have that in this version. My gosh. My hope is that if we can get our science count to 160, I can invent the lab. And once I invent the lab, I'll send the lab up. The lab will rendezvous with the station, and then all that research from Minmus can go into the lab. We'll get a bunch of science, and we'll be golden. And we can start building out our space infrastructure and start thinking about what we're going to do for transfer windows. We could try to go to Moho again. We're going to be able to leave our Kerbals in orbit for a long time. I'm going to have to start hiring a lot of Kerbals because the station can support 8 Kerbals for a decent chunk of time. Beautiful view over Kerbin, by the way, as we decelerate. I don't know if we're going to burn up. The Poodle is a very high temperature capable rocket. Our orbit is decaying, which is what we wanted. We wanted to get rid of space junk. We did not want debris that could run into us. Anyway, I wanted to turn up the music because it's fun deorbiting music. I don't know whether we're going to explode. Sorry if it's loud if we explode. Screaming over. Are we going to land in the ocean or are we going to land on somebody's house? I think we're going to land on someone's house. Hopefully we'll make it to the sea, because that would be irresponsible. Yeah, no, we're not going to make it. Oh, maybe. See, I can't tell. Maybe. This is a beautiful coastline, actually. Where are we? Yeah. The space station's still up there. Yeah, we're going to land on somebody's beachside property. Whoops! Anyway, next time, one of our scientists, maybe Clawfin, will go to Minmus and float around and then come back and we'll invent labs. Thank you for joining me. Have a great week.